podcast. I am your host, Cosmic Waters. May my words inspire you and remind you to remain true to you as you walk authentically in your truth, dripping self-love and unapologetically choosing you. Hello, naked truthers. Welcome back. Happy full moon. It is a super moon in Capricorn. How are y'all feeling out there? How is this energy treating you? How are you treating you? This has been some beautiful ass energy for me. I will say it's like my sexual energy got activated, and it's been intense. I can't front. In a good way, of course. I don't mind it. Channel the energy into other things, channel it into creativity. But I've also indulged in it, at least from a self-pleasure aspect. But I've also allowed myself to express it creatively as well, and the ways in which I choose, with no worry about judgment from others. Just a freedom of fucking expression. And it's been beautiful, it's been delicious, it's been freeing. And so that leads me to tonight's topic. Or should I say it's morning time now, right? It's 5:28 a.m. on the eastern side. So, Grand Risings, good day, good night, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. But that leads me to a question I have for you. What does pleasure look like for you? And how do you define pleasure for yourself? When you think about the word pleasure, what does that feel like for you? How does that word even resonate with your body? A lot of us, and I used to be one of these people, deny ourselves of pleasure. And I know when you think of pleasure, it like instantly goes to like sex, right? But pleasure shows up in our lives in so many different ways. So many different ways. There's many ways to think about pleasure, to receive pleasure, to experience pleasure. So I ask, how do you define pleasure? What pleases you? It's delicious. For me, many things can bring me pleasure, right? Whether it's nature that pleases me, whether it is being an inspiration, whether it's me just over here being pleased by indulgence or indulging in food, right? And I know if you've been on my social media lately, whether it's Facebook or IG, you've seen some of my food play videos. Now, this is something that I've enjoyed doing for a while, that I'm just exposing to the world, really. And I've talked about it on Clubhouse and just among several different people. And I finally just, put the videos out there like, fuck it. I love playing with food. I love eating food seductively. I love that. It's like a passion. I receive pleasure from food, and there's a passion there to eat it in a seductive way, right? I love it. It brings me pleasure, and it brings other people pleasure to watch it. And so I love pleasing others, especially where I don't even have to touch you. I could just please you from my energy, right? I think that's a beautiful fucking thing. And it turns me on to turn others on, right? And if I can bring someone a couple of minutes of pleasure, I am here for it. I'm so here for it, you know? If I can be that place of stress release, if I can be that place to just bring you some form of bliss, some form of joy or excitement, even laughter, calmness, peace, soothing, whatever word you want to place there, I am all for it, right? Like I said, I don't even have to fucking touch you. And that is the beauty of it all. It's the beauty of energy. And seduction, of course, you know, if you know how to use it. So it's just something that I just truly enjoy, you know? I do. And it's no strings attached, no expectations, no nothing really. It's just me being me authentically, freely, allowing myself to express, allowing myself to indulge in what I enjoy, what brings me passion, what brings me pleasure, right? It's simply just that allowance, that acceptance, and that level of creativity when you channel that sexual energy, right? And so it turns into me eating pineapple seductively, if y'all seen that video. Or I have the one with the popsicle too. And I have several others, right? I have a video of me eating a strawberry, a banana. There's even a pickle around here somewhere too. But of course, they're all in my archive. I haven't posted these on the web, on these social media streets. Just chilling in my archive for now. And it's so funny because people are like wanting me to, you know, dive deeper into this OnlyFans and create that, you know, seductive eating vibe. And I'm like, I'll pay you, I'll watch you eat. And it's crazy because I never thought that, you know, that was ever an option. But lately, it's been real. And I think I'm honestly gonna dive deeper into it. Give it a shot. Why not, right? I love watching people eat myself, honestly. It's a vibe. I don't know. I've always been into watching others eat. Especially like more on the ASMR side of the game. I am a fan of ASMR, if you didn't know. So when it comes to like watching people eat, I love it. It's dope. And so I just want to add like a seductive twist to it, you know? And the possibilities are endless of what I could eat. I remember I used to live stream on this app called Bigo. And I would be eating a lot when I would stream, right? Because it was like, okay, I'm hungry. Let's find something to munch on. Whether it was a meal or maybe it was simply a snack, you know? And people would come into my room and they would just watch me eat. And they's like, you eat so passionately. I love watching you eat. And then it got to the point where people would come into my space in my room and they would be like, what are you eating today? You're not eating nothing? Can you go get something to eat? They would want me to sit there and eat. And it would be simple stuff. Like, you know, I would eat chickpeas. I remember one time I had people sitting there watching me eat chickpea after chickpea. And it was literally it was one at a time. One chickpea at a time, slowly, seductively, deliciously. And he would watch, you know. It was amazing. And another one I remember is me eating French fries. I love potatoes. And it probably isn't the best thing to have a love for it, but fuck it. I love potatoes, I do. Especially in French fry form. But I remember sitting there eating potatoes and just diving into them. People would watch. And it got to the point to where I created Foodie Fridays. Right? Foodie Fridays. Yes. It was amazing. And people would just come eat with me and we would just shoot the breeze, you know. Everybody would eat something different and we'd all be on screen, a video, just eating. It was like a great gathering. Food brought us all together. And sometimes I would coordinate the menu. Like one time we all ate Chipotle. One time I think we was all diving in some form of, I want to say spaghetti or things of that nature, you know, like the noodle side of the game. It was dope. Everybody would eat something different, you know. People would come up and just eat fruit, whatever they was feeling, you know. It wasn't so much about what you ate. It was just, hey, come vibe with me. We're all on screen. Let's eat, you know. We're gathered here Friday night, chilling, vibing, in good company, good vibes, you know, having fun and just chatting with one another. And then sometimes that would lead into readings being done. Sometimes I would do readings, just depending on the flow of that night. And so that was a vibe. Foodie Fridays, yes. Back to this seductive eating though, and pleasure. So that is something that I'm looking into for myself to bring to the world and slowly exposing it. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. You may just see me make a post. OnlyFans, me eating seductively. And then there's that aspect of my poetry too that I will bring to the forefront. You know, kind of like cosmic reading bedtime stories. Because I write poetry and I write erotic stories too. It's been a while, but I do write them. And I have a lot of ideas. Just kind of bringing it all together because it's still brewing within my mind. So again, I say stay tuned. Back to pleasure. I really want for you to explore this word and what it means for you. And do you allow yourself to receive pleasure? Do you? For some, pleasure has been dipped in taboo. It has been dipped in shame and guilt, and it has been dipped in, oh no, we can't talk about this. You don't deserve this. Don't allow yourself to receive it for whatever society paints it as, right? Or even if we dive a little bit deeper in what have our friends, our family, our partners painted pleasure for us. And it's time for us to truly redefine it for ourselves. Seriously. I've went through a period of time where I really denied myself of pleasure. I wouldn't allow myself to receive it. I completely just shut myself off to any form of pleasure, sexual pleasure, even self-pleasure. And it was so odd in that time because I was disconnected sexually from myself. Sacral chakra all the way fucking blocked off. All that beautiful creative energy, all that sexual energy just fucking blocked, not flowing, right? And it was pure disconnection. And I just told myself, nah, I'm not indulging in pleasure at all. And it was some shame around it. It was some guilt around it, you know. And there's a deeper story to this, and I may share that one day, but for now, I blocked myself off from it. And when I decided to indulge in pleasure again, it was inspired by someone I met. Beautiful soul, beautiful being, beautiful, delicious man. And me crossing paths with him and indulging in him and with him, it like reignited the flame and inspired me to indulge in me, to indulge in indulgence, whatever that meant for me, because that's going to look different for everyone, of course. And it was just a beautiful thing to feel that sexual energy again, to feel that coursing of creative energy, to feel that healing energy within me. It reignited the flame for my poetry. He was definitely a muse during the time that he was in my life, and it reignited a lot. It helped me redefine pleasure for myself, the way I looked at pleasure. And I began to release all of the baggage that I had when it came to pleasure, when it came to my sexuality, because that was important. My sexuality. What the fuck was that for me? Right? Because I had locked it away. I had not even embraced it. And it came down to me finally learning to embrace my sexuality, to be comfortable in my own skin, to be comfortable with me, to embrace all of me fully, to embrace my deeper desires, my deeper fantasies, the deepest of the deep, the ones that I deep down inside judged myself for even desiring, right? Some form of a, I don't know, should I be desiring this, right? Placing that judgment upon myself. And then it was finally this emergence of breaking free. Like, fuck all of that. I desire to be free. Fuck what society says I should be ashamed of. Fuck what society wants to put me in a box. Fuck that. I'm breaking free. And it was so fucking beautiful. And so in this moment, I just want to say, don't allow society, your friends, your family, your partner, your inner critic, that inner voice, don't allow for any of that to paint your picture of pleasure. And so I really, like I said, want you to redefine it for you. What does pleasure look like for you? And do you know that you deserve it? You fucking deserve it. However that shows up in your life, right? No judgment, you know? And just truly allowing yourself to explore yourself, right? On a deeper level, on an intimate level, that sense of touch. Like I said, pleasure doesn't have to be just sex. It could be intimate touch. It could be that deeper form of intimacy. You know, it could be simply figuring out, what do I like? What do I enjoy? What pleases me outside of sex too, you know? And it's like the little pleasures, the little joys, the little indulgences. And getting familiar with that, getting familiar with your body, getting familiar with what turns you on, what arouses you, what brings you joy, like I said. Dabbling in that and allowing yourself to just fully explore and indulge, from a place of, I would say, responsibility. It can be pleasure, you can be pleasurable or indulge in pleasure from a place of responsibility, because, I don't want to be on here like inspiring pleasure if it is going to cause anyone any kind of harm. So of course, in all that you do, be responsible. That's all I'll say. Take accountability for your actions, But at the same time, allow yourself to explore and see where that takes you. Break free, especially when it comes to releasing that shame aspect or that guilt or keeping yourself in a box. Break fucking free. Break free. Free your yoni. Free your pussy. And if you're a man, hell, free your dick. And when I say free it, that means take off the criticisms, the judgments, the shame, and the guilt. Take off that layer of beating yourself up for what you truly want. And then make your desires and your wants known. That deserves to be heard, on whatever level that shows up in your life. So free your throat chakra in this process too. Because if you don't make your wants, your needs, your desires known, who the fuck will? Who will? Right? Especially when it comes to being in the bedroom. If you don't make them known, if you don't honor them, your partner or whoever you are indulging with, how the fuck are they gonna know? So, yeah, speaking up, laying down that level of groundwork, painting the canvas of, hey, this is what I desire. This is my fantasy, This is what pleases me. This is what arouses me. Hell, this is my love language when it comes to sex, whatever it is. And making that known and not just settling for, whatever they're presenting, right? And speaking up, I used to be really mute or laid back to the point of shyness, to the point of being fearful when it came to speaking sexually, in the bedroom. It was just okay, whatever I receive, even if I wasn't happy with it, it was just okay. Now I'm at a place of, listen, this is what I fucking love, this is what I desire, this is what resonates for me, this is what I want, these are my deal breakers, these are just unfucking acceptable, no way, I don't want this done to me, whatever. Knowing that and having those boundaries set, and then just having it to where you don't settle for mediocre ass sex, right? Because I'm also at a place where sex hit deeper, where it's more on a deeper intimate connection, that soul to soul sex, that intimate, beautiful eye contact sex, that speak affirmations to me while you stroke me sex. Right? Just that deeper bond, that deeper skin to skin, that emotional, intellectual, just that deeper sex, that touch, that explore me first sex. There's no rushing. There's no, okay, I just want to get a nut out of this. No, none of that. It is literally all about the connection, the energy, the vibe, the feelings, the energetic exchange. It's about that. How deep can we go? How high can we get? Individually and with each other. What does that look like? Us merging together to create that level of ecstasy, nirvana, pleasure for one another, right? What does that look like? So, sex for me doesn't even hit the same as it used to. It doesn't. And it's so fucking beautiful, honestly, when you experience sex on this level. That level of deep intimacy, when you experience that. And I've had a scenario, encounter, a beautiful form of pleasure with someone that opened me up to the different levels of pleasure, that opened me up to this deeper, intimate side, right? That made me feel pleasure in ways I had never fucking felt it. Opened up my floodgates, that hit spots within me that I didn't even know fucking existed. Oh man, it was just beautiful. It just unlocked something within me. And I'm grateful for this man. I really am. Because he just showed me pleasure in many different ways. And like I said, it opened me up in many different fucking ways, right? And so that is when you have gratitude for people who come along, no matter how long or short they stay. But their presence in your life made a difference, and he definitely made a difference. He left his mark. And so when I think about pleasure and where I used to be and where I am now, and even how I have grown and evolved from that particular point of that meeting with that man, right? And it's beautiful to see the growth. And I'm so proud of myself. And I'm just yes, we've come a long fucking way. I remember just being so shut down, and now I'm so open. And I feel like my divine feminine energy celebrates that. My whole inner being, my soul, everything just fucking celebrates. Because she's free. That energy is free to flow. Right? And I can sit here and I can please myself. And I can bring myself to this place of orgasmic bliss. And I can self-please. And I can play with my clit. And I can touch on my body. And then in that moment, I can bring the orgasm, that feeling all throughout my body, just with my breath. And now it's moving from just my sacral to my crown. And oh my God, that energy is circling through my crown chakra. And it's just emerging. And it comes back down and it swells around and it goes all throughout my fucking body. And now I'm floating. I'm just oh, this feels so good. And it's peace, pure bliss in those moments, right? And then it's also, okay, how do I want to channel this energy? Am I literally just basking in the ambience, or am I channeling this energy to what I want to bring it to fruition? What I'd like to align with in this moment, right? So yeah, some may call that, sex magic. Whatever name you want to put to it. It's delicious. It's delicious, right? And you can do sex magic with yourself, right? If that's what you want to call it. It could be a pleasure ritual with yourself. You can say affirmations while you're immersed in this pure bliss state. And this is bringing back memories. I was going to say you can say it with a partner too. It's fucking beautiful too. to just be in that moment and in that energy and be just over here saying, like, whatever it is that you fucking desire. And even if you're someone that's still opening up to pleasure, that could be what you affirm. I deserve pleasure. I allow myself to receive pleasure in all ways. I'm worthy and deserving of pleasure. You can say things like that, that's affirming. And your body will begin to open up to it. And it's like reprogramming the mind around pleasure, which is why I asked the question that I did several times. What does pleasure look like for you, and how do you define it? Not the way it's been defined for you, but how do you define pleasure? I really want y'all to think deeper on that and see how it shows up in your life. And if you're at a state of suppressing it, if you're at a state where you're like, I can't be this free, oh, I can't say that, I can't desire that, I can't do that, right? All the can'ts, all the ways that you shut yourself down and restrict yourself, all the ways that you stop yourself from fully living and experiencing life and pleasure, right? And stop judging yourself. Fuck it, man. Truly just allow yourself to live. One of the things that I want to say is that when it comes to women, society has it to where it's like, oh, that's not ladylike. Or, as a woman, if you say, I love sex, now you're a hoe, or you're this and you're that. And it's like, man, break fucking free from all of that. Break free. Please break free. And just be you. Just be dripping in your authenticity. Be smothered in your pleasure. Because fuck what the world has to say and fuck what anyone has to think. As a woman, I will scream at the top of my motherfucking lungs, I love sex. I do. Now, however somebody chooses to interpret that is on them. Because in me loving sex, that does not mean that I fuck anything or anyone for the fuck of it. No, I don't. I'm very particular. I'm very picky. I'm very aware of who I allow to slide up in my deliciousness. Everyone is unworthy. So trust me, there are definitely boundaries in play. Because I do not exchange sexual energy with just anyone. I do not allow any man to just come into my life and fuck me, make love to me, please me. Nah. It has to be some form of a connection. It has to be some form of just divine alignment. I don't settle for mediocre sex. I don't settle for mediocre dick. Because divine dick can hit different. And when you had it, there is no going back. There is no settling for that mediocre bullshit at all. I'm just saying. So, especially for the women that listen to me, because I know it's a good majority of women that tune in. Free yourself. Free yourself. I know as a woman, like I said, the judgment is there. But there's nothing wrong with you loving sex. There's nothing wrong with being in tune with your body, with your energy. There's nothing wrong with being seductive. We are naturally seductive. And for some people, that energy is a little bit more intense. It hits a little bit harder, I know that I have a seductive energy about me. I do. And I know that energy could be used in many different ways. And I know how it shows up. And I know how it presents itself. And I know there are times where it's literally just naturally there. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to say shit. People can just feel it. They can just feel it. It oozes out of me. I'm aware of that though. And I know what that comes with. At the end of the day, though, I have say over who I entertain. So I don't give a fuck who feels what when they come into my presence. It does not mean that they are worthy of touching me, that they are worthy of talking to me, that they are worthy of that energetic exchange. Because people will try you, right? And trust me, I've heard every fucking pickup line or whatever you want to call it. Right? People will just be like, oh my God, I love your energy. You're so fucking just seductive and addictive, and I love it. And then they feel like that gives them some form of entitlement. Like automatically I'm just gonna invite them in. No. Just because you are sexually attracted to me does not mean I'm sexually attracted to you. Just because you have some sexual tension there, or you have those deep desires for me, or of me, or with me, does not mean that's reciprocated. Does not mean that. And there is no entitlement at all. I don't owe you shit. My pussy belongs to me. My pussy is my motherfucking pussy. She does not belong to any man out here in this world. Any man. She is mine. She belongs to me. I'm not obligated to share her with anyone. And no man is entitled to her or my motherfucking body. Just saying. Because, there's some men out here that would be like, oh, that's my pussy. No, the fuck it's not. No, the fuck it's not. This has been beautiful. Beautiful conversation. And if you'd like to hear me dive a little bit deeper, I did a room on Clubhouse called Podcasting Made Easy. Releasing the fears and getting started. Now, of course, I talk all things podcasting in the beginning. And then that room shifted to pleasure, intimacy, sex, all things erotica. I read some poetry on there, and I talked about seductive eating, and the conversation was beautiful because it allowed people to be open and to be free and to express pleasure for themselves and how it's shown up in their lives and just how they receive it. And it was so freeing of a conversation. There were like no taboo moments. Nothing was off limits. We just all sat there and we discussed us and pleasure and what that meant for us. So if you're on Clubhouse, go check it out. My club is called Cosmic's Paradise. You can find me on Clubhouse at Cosmic_Waters. The replay is saved. You can listen to it as you please. And it's so funny because it's like since that room, I've been like running into pleasure in many different ways in my life. How it's been showing up. And it was like that room just ignited or activated or summoned different forms of pleasure. And one of the things that I tell myself is I deserve pleasure. I am worthy of pleasure, and I allow myself to receive it. Like I give myself that permission. Like you are worthy. Allow yourself to receive pleasure, right? Allow it because you deserve it. And there's a level of freedom there. And in that level of freedom, it's also understanding that I don't have to settle for just any pleasure. I define pleasure. I decide. I decide who gives it to me and who doesn't. There's power in that. When you're not just settling out here for the mediocre bullshit and breadcrumbs. And so it was like, since I did that room, oh man, it's been beautiful. And then today, or should I say yesterday, my sexual energy, oh my God. Just like, what is going on? So for those of you that don't know, August will make a year for me of when I've actually had, delicious, energetic exchange sexually with a man. It's been about a year coming up on August. And so I think I'm like really feeling that at this point, or I don't know. I know we're in full moon energy and that amplifies things, but today, yesterday, whatever, it's been fucking intense, and I've been expressing it through my posts, just through my energy, and encouraging people to, play around with their expression of pleasure too. And it's been beautiful. I fucking love it. I love it because it's like, how does pleasure show up for you? And I'm gonna keep asking this fucking question. But yeah, it's been really delicious. And I'm just like, the man that gets to receive all this deliciousness, all this beautiful year of deliciousness. And I won't even say that it's pent up energy, right? Because I have released, for myself, I have pleased myself, right? I've made myself come over and over the fuck again. However, the man that gets to receive this deliciousness that is just brewing and ready to exchange with a beautiful soul. Yeah. Oh, you're just, listen, you're just, I don't even have a word for it. I don't even want to say lucky. We're just gonna leave it at that. And I will say this too. So, for those of you who may be like, oh, well, why haven't you had sex in a year? Well, when it comes to sex, I do believe in that energy being sacred, Like I was saying, I don't just exchange it with anyone. So, when the time is right, and when that divine alignment happens, I'm here for it. There's no rush. There's no forcing. There's no desperateness, right? So, I'm here for it. Like I said, when it divinely aligns. Because divine dickin', it's beautiful. Yes. So, before I close this out, I just want to remind you that pleasure shows up in many different ways in your life. And it can be a simple pleasure, something so small, but it brings you joy. It brings you that form of pleasure. Right? I don't want it to just be associated with sex. So there's many different ways in which pleasure may show up. And I want you to begin being aware of those ways. I want you to be in tune with your body, with your energy, with that sexual energy, with that level of creativity, with that healing energy, however it chooses to show up for you. I want you to begin to be aware of it. And I want you to begin to notice how your body responds and reacts when you're in a state of pleasure. Whether you're eating a piece of chocolate, or whether you are out frolicking in nature, whether you are in the presence of someone who brings you pleasure, whether you are simply laughing, because laughing is healing, and in that moment there's pleasure there too. Whether you are creating art in some way, stroking the canvas with the paintbrush, or whether you are writing poetry, whether you are dancing, however pleasure shows up for you, I want you to be aware of it. And in those moments, I want you to tap in a little bit deeper and really use and feel that energy, because we get so used to just being in zombie mode and just being in automatic. But I want you to be in the present and the now, and I want you to feel, and I want you to dive in, indulge, taste it, see it, feel it, engage all of your senses into it when pleasure shows up for you. And I really want y'all to redefine pleasure for yourselves. I know I've said that over and over and over again in this podcast episode, but I really want you to redefine it because it frees you and it allows you to truly begin to receive when you look at it differently, when you look at it from your eyes and your eyes only, and not the eyes of society. And I want y'all to free all that suppressed ass energy. I want y'all to let go of the judgment that you have placed upon yourself for what it is that you desire, those fantasies. I want you to let go of those judgments, because listen, there's somebody out here in this world that will be down to explore every fucking fantasy you have. And to them, it won't be taboo. To them, they won't judge you. And that's the beauty of it. But in order for you to experience that with someone else, you have to free yourself from those judgments. You do. Because if you're judging yourself, that is the energy that you are placing out there. That is the energy that resonates or vibrates within your vibration. And so how do you expect to come across someone who is going to be open to what you desire if you're not even fucking open to it? Give yourself permission to explore your deepest desires, because we all have them. They're all within us. They hide. We suppress them. We never truly allow ourselves to explore. And so I inspire you and I encourage you to break free and allow yourself to indulge in what it is that you've always been wanting. Like I said, be responsible, of course. Be mindful of others, of course. Respect others' wishes and desires as well, And you want to make sure that yours are respected too, okay? Because it's not just about them, it's about you too. Reciprocity is key in all of this, right? So however pleasure chooses to show up for you, honor that. Remember to love on you. Self-pleasure hits different. That connection of self. If you can be free with yourself, it sets the foundation for you to be free with others. So really tune in, tap in with self, and sit with the energy of pleasure itself. Allow that to course through your body and see what that feels like for you. And take it a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper with yourself. And if you don't agree with this, if this doesn't resonate with you, that is totally okay. As I know, when we dive into topics like this, not everybody is going to agree. Not everybody is going to resonate with me and my frequency when it comes to pleasure, And there are some of you that are so buried deep within your own shame and insecurities and, guilt around pleasure, judgments and criticisms around pleasure, that this may be making you cringe. But if you are still listening, even beyond your cringing, I will say kudos to you, because you made it this far. And there's no judgment. If it don't resonate, it just don't resonate, baby. It don't. I understand that We are all on different levels and different journeys, and there's no judgment from me at all. I just wanted to give you that permission to allow yourself to break free. Not saying that you needed my permission, but that inspiration, let's put it that way. I wanted to give you that inspiration, that encouragement, that push to just, dive in with yourself and just really make you think about how pleasure has shown up throughout your life. And if you have honored pleasure for yourself, or if you've let somebody else set that picture for you, and if you've been living through someone else's ideals and ideas and definition of pleasure, So I just came to shake shit up a little bit. I'm all for self-pleasure. I'm all for passion and intimacy and those deep bonds and connections, So go make yourself come a couple times. I know I did today. It was so beautiful. It was oh my God, it was so delicious. So fucking delicious. Okay. I said this was going to be a short episode, and I've made it to 50 minutes. I could talk about pleasure all day, though. Really, I can. And I didn't even really dive too deep with y'all, I got deep, but not as deep as I could go. But don't worry. I will definitely be having more conversations about pleasure, touching on different things. No pun intended. And I'm going to do the podcast episode about pleasure. I didn't forget about it. Definitely going to be diving into that with some people, and seeing how pleasure shows up for them and what ways they define pleasure, and if they allow themselves to receive it. And are they also a giver, of pleasure? There are a lot of people, I'll say this too before I close, that are just on the giving side, and that receiving side is just non-existent. And there's one thing to really truly enjoy: pleasing your partner. But what about you? You deserve to be pleased. So balance the scales and allow yourself to receive as much as you give when it comes to pleasure, when it comes to intimacy. Don't allow yourself to just be left to hang dry. Indulge in all that juiciness. And allow yourself to be pleased as well, okay? I've been on this end of the spectrum where it was one-sided, and I was just always giving. In these relationships, in these situationships, in these sexual exchanges. But when you meet someone, whether it's a man or a woman, or however they choose to identify themselves, when you meet that person and they show you what it's like to be worshipped, and they show you what it's like to be catered to, and they show you what it's like to truly love pleasing you too, it's gonna change your motherfucking life if you allow yourself to receive it. Because it damn sure changed mine. When I had a man come into my life and was like, I just want to please you, and he worshipped me. It's a game changer, and it definitely opens you up. Whew, there's so many different levels to pleasure. And so again, I ask, how do you define it, and how does it show up for you? And how do you show up for you? How do you feel about pleasure? So that is all for this episode for now. I just want to say thank you to all of you that tune in and listen to me. To all of you that vibe with me. Gratitude to all of you that have been here since the beginning. Since March, since me first starting this baby. Gratitude to you. To you, those of you that may be new, gratitude to you. To those of you that listen from different countries, I fucking appreciate you all. To those of you that are listening to me from the States, I appreciate you. Spread the word. I've made it to 26 states. The goal is for me to reach all 50. I'm making my way there. Don't forget to follow the podcast from whatever platform you choose to listen from. And don't forget to rate the show as well. Give me some stars. Tell a friend. Share it with someone. And y'all can interact with me too. I would love to hear how you define pleasure for yourself. You can leave me a voice note. You can reach out to me in the social media streets. I'm down for it. I can do a part 2 to this if you guys do reach out to me. I have it set up to where I take questions from my listeners. So if you ever have a question and you can remain anonymous that you would like me to answer on here on the podcast, please let me know. tastemynakedtruths@gmail.com. That is the email for my podcast. You can hit me up on there, or if you follow me on social media and you have a question or topic or a suggestion, feedback, anything of the sort that you would like me to dabble into, please feel free to reach out. I'm open. Okay. So, we have come to the end. I am about to go indulge in self, make myself come again. I'm fully indulging in this energy, y'all. I've expressed it in many ways, but for now, I'm about to express these moans. I love y'all. I fucking love y'all. Like I said, much gratitude. Remember, life is as beautiful as you allow it to be. The choice is yours. Self-awareness and perspective is key. So choose wisely, beautiful souls. Much love. Peace.